Yep, because it's a 45-second delay in order for the handshake to happen. So glad you reminded me. I've been so slammed.
No, it's all good. It's all good. What happened is that someone just asked me if we were on tonight, and then I just lost. Oh man, I just lost my feed. Hold on a second. Bigg Weezy, let's go. Bam. All right, live. Bam. Okay, there we go.
Okay. So
we're in business.
We're live on Pod Brother Nation, and we are live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook. And we're live
now, what's so great is the bottom line is I don't think anybody knows we were late. That's what I'm talking about. I don't think anybody knows we were late. But I am happy to be here, everybody. It's Weezy Philosophy in the building, where ignorant talk is talk and bad advice is advice. I'm feeling good. Now, check this out, Stephen. I've had a little bit of I don't know about you, but I had a little bit of people commenting on last week's show. All right. They love the philosophy. They love the Weezy philosophy on the dick pic. All right. They like the fact that I'm kind of changed the game. I've reversed the game. All right. On what it takes for you to get the dick pic. The dick pic doesn't come easily. The dick pic is just not given. See, there are some brothers that use the dick pic as an enticement. All right. They're like, okay, once she sees this, it's over. It's done. Once she sees this, it's over. It's done. All I got to do is send the girl my dick pic, and we're getting married. We're going to be engaged. She's going to accept me having other women as if I am an African king, where I'm allowed to have 25 wives, and she's only allowed to have one husband, me. That's what the dick pic means to most men.
But do they know that that's in a reverse effect? That has a reverse effect. Do they know that?
Yeah, that's right. So people have been commenting on it, the Weezy, man, that was funny about the dick pic. And I said, well, I'm glad you thought it was funny, okay? But I'm serious about the dick pic, all right? So because of that, I said, I got to change the game. It's not only about you got to be able to pay my cell phone bill or change a tire in the rain or be able to cook gumbo. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about that. It's about you sending $5 to my Cash App as a down payment on a future possibility of getting a dick pic. That's what it's going to be from now on. Now, for people who don't follow sports, when they build a new stadium, they have something called PSL. You familiar with the PSL, Herb?
No. I don't know what that means.
You familiar with the PSL, Stephen?
Yes.
Right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's when you pay money in advance as a deposit for the right to be able to have the possibility of buying that seat for the season. That's called a PSL. I don't know what PSL stands for. Don't care about what that acronym stands for. But what happens is there's now a PSL on my dick pics, ladies and gentlemen. All right? So you're going to send $5 for the right to have the possibility of one day within the next 12 months, which is the Bigg Weezy season, all right, to have a possibility.
Can I break it down into something that can I break it down in more of lame that your crowd might be easier to comprehend?
Yes.
It's a dick pic layaway, ladies and gentlemen.
That's pretty much what no, Stephen. A layaway means you're actually going to get it at the end of paying it off. There is a possibility that this $5 is not going to bring you anything in return. All right. Let's say, for instance, this is what I mean. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to pick a number. There is a 12-month, 10-pic dick pic limit. All right. That means I'm sending out only 10 dick pics in the next 12 months because it's Bigg Weezy season. As we all know, from the end of August, September the 1st through March 31st, that's my time. That's when the women love the big dudes because we're going to keep them warm. They know when we walking down the street and the wind's blowing and I take my jacket off, it's going to cover them and all their girlfriends that are rolling with us because my jacket's that big. That's what's going to happen, okay? So that's what that's all about because it's Bigg Weezy season. End of March, September the 1st, March 31st, all right? Sometimes if the weather's good, I extend it another 2 weeks. Very rarely do I go all the way through April. But that's the way it is. Big boy season, all right? So that's what that's all about.
Gotcha.
12 dick pics go out during that season, all right? That's it. That's the limit, all right? There is no Willy Wonka golden ticket action going on, nothing like that. Now, let's be honest, all right? I'm going to be honest because I always am. I tell it like it is, okay? There is absolutely, I said absolutely, I meant to say there is absolutely nothing special about my penis whatsoever, all right? I need to let you know. Let me repeat that for the women who just heard it and are shocked. There is absolutely nothing special about my penis whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this out there right now. Steven has a better looking penis than I have. Steven, am I right?
You are absolutely right.
And he's never seen my penis. But Steven knows his shit's together. He knows his penis game is the game, all right? Steven knows that because he walks that way, all right? Because this is how you walk when your penis game is in order. As a brother, when you see us walking down the street and we look like this and we walk like this and we talk like this and we do the lip game with it like, right? The lip game's behind the wall, all right? You see a honey? And you give her the head shake. You see it, honey? You like, right? You do that. You're like, right? And right? The lip like that means your penis game on point. All right? When you see me walking down the street, it's like this. All right? It's left, right, wah, do, slowly. Right? Because my penis game is normal. It's actually borderline mediocre. But what happens is the confidence in my penis, ladies, is the fact that in order for you to say, is it really mediocre? Is it really that bad? I want to see. Then you send your $5 to Bigg Weezy. Get that. That's it. It's a mystery. That's the way it works. And there's some special characteristics. And the reason why I'm saying this is because anytime a woman used to talk shit to my girl, talk about, you know what, Bigg Weezy, that Negro was with me last night, all they got to do is say, describe that mofo penis. It's got some special characteristics. And when they can't describe it, they know they're lying because this characteristic is so unusual that all of my exes gave it a special name. I can tell you that. But when it comes to the length, it's not there. It's mediocre. 3.75 inches. I said it. That's right. But when you put the camera close and you tilt it just right and you get that angle, it's like you're sitting on Mount Rushmore because that's what I do. It's penis fishing. So the bottom line is that's what's happening because the comments from last week here on Weezylosophy where bad advice is advice, where ignorant talk is talk because people were commenting on the fact that I just don't send out dick pics as handshakes as a calling card like everyone else does, that somehow I think I'm special. No, but now I do because I'm charging $5 And this is just a Black Friday special. Because believe me, in the next week or so, I'm doubling that price. That's right. If you order your dick pic now, we will send you another one. All you got to do is pay for shipping and handling and a separate processing fee. That's how this shit works in America.
It's Cyber Week extended is what that is.
Cyber Week. All right. So I have no problem. That's what's going on now. Steven's dick gang, hey, I give it to him. I got no problem. You put us side by side. I got the number 2 dick. There's nothing wrong with having the number 2 dick when it comes to the dick game. It's a problem in football, baseball, basketball, coming in second in those certain situations. That's a problem, but not in this dick game. You got me, Steven, and Herb. No offense to Herb, but I'm ahead of Herb on the dick game. Sorry, Herb. I just am. Because we all know chocolate melts in your mouth and not in your hand. So, to everyone who chimed in on last week's penis talk, I mean, it really wasn't penis talk, but that came up because, you know, I've got certain standards when it comes to dating and going out at my old tender age of 62. I just got to have that standard now. I just got to have certain things. And that was one of the things that came up, you know. So any last words, Steven or Herb, on dick pic talk?
Just that
no.
I think the initials were preseason lottery. I had to think about it a while.
that could be, that could be what the acronym stands for. But
you get in on the lottery for the season
for the
tickets.
chance. For
and
the chance.
All you do is get on the drawing.
That's it. That's all it does, right? So everybody knows that's what it is. That's what I'm doing. That's how I roll. All right. Now, should Mofo Trump, my man, back in business, all right, trying to overturn the election, putting direct pressure, calling people out. The guy he endorsed for governor, what was it, Georgia we talking about?
Yes.
Or Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Georgia, right?
Georgia.
He wants Kemp to call a special session of the legislature for them to make some type of resolution or vote, fire the current electors, put in a new set of electors so that they can overturn it. Now, I am so on board with some of this shit. Okay? I mean, it is fantastic. All right? You talk about never giving up. You talk about doing everything you can to win. This is the example that our president is showing us. And let's be honest, you may not have voted for him. I did not. You may not like his divisive rhetoric. I do not. You may believe that some of the things that he's doing is outlandish, as I do. But let's get something straight. When it comes to showing the example of never giving up, of going to the last mile, putting it all out there, doing everything you can, that man is doing it. That man is, I'm telling you, it's like, fuck the courts. I'm refiling my shit. All right? Let me tell you, he's worked Rudolph so hard, and he wasn't so happy. Rudolph now has the COVID.
Yeah.
America's mayor now has the COVID. Okay? And they're still filing cases. All right?
The irony is amazing.
The super spreader. I saw Sleepy Joe briefly on television today. Sleepy Joe was not making some cabinet announcements. I didn't watch it. I just saw it as I'm passing by. Okay. And I stopped and I said, you know what? everybody that's on the panel, on the stage, they have their mask on. Okay. And then when they're called to give their speech, nominating speech, or however they label it, they take their mask off. Then you see a picture of Rudy traveling all over the country without his mask on. It was just inevitable that he was going to catch it. It's just crazy. All right. The message that's being sent at the highest level of our country, the chaos that's going on. Remember, there was about 2 or 3 weeks ago where somebody, look, first thing, let me apologize to everyone listening and watching. I'm going to have to start researching. Part of our job is to research. All right. But I haphazardly research. So I never know the names. I just know the situation. So there was a guy 2 or 3 weeks ago. He puts out a statement, a memo, that nobody in the White House can be looking for another job. All right. They don't want no one trying to find other jobs. Hey, newsflash, motherfuckers is out there looking for work. The writing's on the wall. All right. They're trying to support a sinking ship. If you ever saw Midway, not the old Midway, the updated Midway, the movie that was out I think was doing in the last 2 years. There's a scene when the Japanese realized they were outsmarted, they were out hoodwinked, that the Americans did what they were supposed to do. The admiral, the big cheese, the big captain, not the admiral, the big cheese, no, not the admiral. It might have been the admiral, but this dude was one of the big cheese, like number 2, number 3 in charge. He's out on the destroyer. All right. They sent all the planes out, and then they got attacked and all that, and then they couldn't go to Midway to attack us and take out Midway. So one of their big ships is, boom, it's sinking. This mofo gets in a boat and goes to the sinking ship and stands on the sinking ship and goes down with the ship. You want me to tell you what that is, people, while some of you out there saying that's stupidity? That's commitment. That is commitment to your word right there. That is accepting responsibility right there. All right? That's what he did. Okay? Donald right now is going down with the ship, ladies and gentlemen. And Rudy is going with him. Now, I hope Rudy makes it, because the first thing I would have did once I showed up to the hospital and I was tested positive for the COVID, I would say, give me the Trump therapy. That's the shit I'm taking. Give me the Trump therapy. The shit that had me up and about within 2 or 3 days. Give me that. That's what I want. Matter of fact, everyone in America should be demanding that therapy. I mean, Stephen, Herb, what is it about Rudy? What is it?
I liked when he was on the commission, pleading his case for fraudulent in Georgia, and he clearly has the COVID. He's sweating like black streaks of dye off his head. The woman next to him, he goes, "Do you mind taking off your mask because so we can all hear you?" She gave him this look like "fuck you." And then turned to the mic and said, "You can hear me, right?"
Right.
That was a priceless Giuliani moment for me, because the irony was so like thick. And here he is with COVID asking people to take a mask off.
Yeah.
I mean, how much I understand being in denial, and I understand trying to push your narrative about what is a hoax. But to be sweating your COVID bullets as you ask somebody to take their mask off, that to me,
got your droplets. Sweating your droplets.
That's like showing up with like a pulpy, pulsy, like warped genitals, herpes. And if the pus is just oozing off of it, and you go, you mind if I just go ahead and insert this with no rubber? We cool. To me, that's what that was. That was him like trying to put a pulpy, pussy penis raw dog and act
Now,
like it's your problem if you don't want to do it.
This is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Steven. This is what I'm talking about. This is what Weezy philosophy is about. That is about as ignorant as it gets when it comes to an analogy being drawn when it comes to COVID versus a herpes-infected testicle penis situation. I mean, Steven went all in.
Genital warts
coming out.
With pus coming off of it. Can I put this in your nice clean vagina, please? We all right. We cool, right? We cool.
Hey, we that cool. You know what I'm saying? And you know what, Steven? There's some women that would do it, bro.
I understand that. I do understand that.
And this is a whole new deal. There's some men that will do it too. I don't want to, right? There's some men do it, right? And I venture to guess there's a couple of giraffes that'll take it too. Listen, you animal lovers, don't get crazy. Don't start saying let's get Weezy off the air. You can't do it because number one, Steven's the EP, the showrunner, the big dog. Number two, we ain't got no advertisers to piss off. Ain't nobody buying time on the show.
I'm your biggest fan, Weezy. I'm your biggest fan. So ain't nobody gonna tilt.
That's it.
Nobody's gonna tip the apple cart if I'm the fan.
That's it. So so the problem. So raw dog and a giraffe with the pussy testicles coming out is part of the ignorant talk. Is talk on Weezy philosophy. You're probably saying, why am I telling you this? Because there are some people that always say, well, what is ignorant talk? You just experienced it for 20 minutes. Okay? What is bad advice? All right? Bad advice is I my dick pic for $5 with the possibility of having a lottery to get 12 of them that I may or may not disperse during big boy season. That's it. So now the light bulb is going off in your head and oh, it really is bad advice. It really is ignorant talk, But shook Trump, he's still losing. He's trying to give it overturned. He's putting pressure on people. We all know he held a super spreader event Saturday night for the two candidates for the GOP and the pundits. Right now, the pundit, and
but Weezy, can I just chime in here real quick and show you just how truly gangster this is? All right.
Yes.
Let me tell you how truly gangster this is. All right. All of the legal shenanigans that he's going through right now is just to show proof of effort for the funds you're asking for. The real game is acquiring funds that you can use for anything else you want to use it for. For example, he has raised over $170 million.
More. It's over $200 million now.
Yeah, $200 million, okay, to fight this battle. Now, he knows it's a losing battle, but because he took the money, he's got to go through the motions of presenting an argument that doesn't exist because he took the money. And the people who gave it to him will be satisfied that he at least tried because they contributed money. Now, at the end of the day, when it's like, well, we tried, we gave money, we lost, they will forget about that contribution. Trump will be able to keep what's left over and spend it however he wants post-president. Now that, to me, dude, that's gangster as a
motherfucker. Absolutely.
That's gangster. Raise $200 million
every week.
And I'm gonna spend 20 grand on this kind of bullshit case, because you saw I had Giuliani talking, and sweating and farting and doing COVID in Georgia. You saw I had him, doing his previous case in Arizona. So we are, we got somebody on the case because you did send down that money, but we only spent about 30,000, but we got 200 million that we can take home. That's the severance pay for his presidency, and he don't have to do jack shit to even come. He don't even have to show a receipt for that shit, man. He can take that money and run, bro. That's gangster in the motherfucker.
It is real gangster. And let it be known there's people in the hood taking notes on this, all right? Because that's what we do. And I'm not just talking about black folk. I'm talking about any folk in a poor neighborhood. I mean, you have folks in prison getting unemployment checks, all right? Getting that extra $600 a week in prison, okay? They were, and you had a lot of people collecting. And I don't know how many of those envelopes you got, Stephen, before the EDD shut it down here in Cali. But I was getting all those envelopes coming to my house. I didn't even open them, right? I just shredded them, and I probably shredded a couple of cards. But, that's just part of it. So it's just another scam. It's just another deal. It's just another way of taking money from the poor Americans during the pandemic. All right, but they're falling for it. I don't understand how the mind gets so taken by that. Do you really dislike black folks so much that you are willing to listen to this rhetoric and do everything in your power to fly that Confederate flag and keep us in our place? I mean,
the answer is yes.
That's my real take.
The answer is yes, Weezy, because once you see and feel that there's a possibility that this movement could cause black people to get a leg up, and that concept of that is really frightening, because where does it end? You ask
it doesn't.
Well, that's the scary thing about it. That's why you are willing to give someone like Trump a shitload of money to try to nip this in the bud, even if there's a far chance that it may not happen. But just to like somehow, even try to get in there and disrupt that seed in the ground is worth the money sent, because the outcome of it even getting a chance to germinate and grow and turn into something that is a force to be reckoned with. Let me put it to you this way. These folks are Kreskin and can read the crystal ball. And what is in the crystal ball is one tiny little germinated seed of blackness completely shut out all of the light. And they are afraid of that. And rightfully so, because you know how we are. You know how we are, man. We get one little bit, and then poof, man.
That's it.
We germinate, and we spread, and next thing you know, it's complete total black canopy, and no lights getting on anything.
I'm going to tell you one thing that I noticed. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it. The happiest person on earth in Washington, D.C. is the first hoe. The first hoe is happy. I have never seen a smile on the first hoe like I saw a few days ago when they were taking off to go to Georgia, because she knows it's over. She knows she's got a month and a half left before she can get back to her life. All right, because as a first hoe, she didn't accomplish too much. There was no agenda. I don't know what her agenda was. I don't know what she was trying to do. And you really can't blame her, all right? And I'm only calling her the first hoe because, she had her pussy grabbed by the president.
Well, it was initially supposed to be cyberbullying was her platform, is what she was going to go into. But then when she realized that her husband is the number one cyberbully, that kind of fucked her shit up.
It backfired like a ball.
It's almost like she did. It's almost like when she went in and said, what issue should I have? Like, what campaign should I? And they went around the room and they named all this stuff. And she goes, that's all good stuff. But how about cyberbully? I think that's a good one to go with. And they all looked at her. They looked at Trump, and they looked at her. They looked at Trump, and like, you sure you want to take cyberbullying? Because you realize you got a tweet account and he been bullying motherfuckers since the day one. Are you sure you want to take on cyberbullying? Because
it's the big.
Have you read a tweet?
And what's so crazy? And we already know.
When she said cyberbully,
right.
I'm like, does she know?
And what's so crazy is we know that he don't bully her. We know he tries, but just like she's got something on him.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you can slap your mofo's hand in public and don't care who sees it, right? And you know it's on camera and they show it from all different angles. I mean, when you show up 4 years ago, okay, when you show up 4 years ago, you get out the car, all right, and you've got the first queen standing there with the president of the United States to welcome you into your new home that they're getting ready to leave out of, okay? And she's standing there next to Barack, and they holding hands, and they come, and as quiet as it's kept, people don't know this. The whole time Barack was in office, shit wasn't peachy keen at home with Michelle. All right. Michelle was not happy. Now, I had heard rumblings about this, but when I heard Barack finally admit it publicly, all right, she didn't want the White House. She didn't want any of that stuff because she knew the predicament it was going to put her kids in. She knew her kids were going to have a bullseye on them the whole time they were in office. And like Barack said, it would rear its ugly head every so often in the White House, and he would be in the doghouse. And it's only been a year since she's been over it. A year. So you are talking about a brother in the White House with the finest first lady ever to walk the face of the earth, and you ain't getting it like you was getting it before he decided to run for president. I always imagine that on inaugural night, he got inaugural head. Now I know he got inaugural nothing. She was pissed.
Inaugural blue nuts.
If you think about it, right? If you think about it, that's why she moved her mama in. Because that's what they do. Oh, you know what? Mama moving in, Barack. Mama moving in, and her room gonna be right next to our room. All right? And as a man, when that shit happened, it's over. We know what's up. It ain't never happening. It's not going to be. We are not going to be on the same schedule. I'm going to guess Barack was 3 times a year during the 8-year span in the White House based on but Michelle was the shit. She never showed it publicly. She didn't do what she didn't show it publicly. She wasn't like Melania. All right. Melania let everybody know up front, don't touch me. All right. And what hand was she slapping? She was slapping the pussy grabbing hand. She knew that was the hand he was grabbing pussy with from everybody that he said he could do it with. All right. So I ain't mad at you, Suge Trump, but Barack had it tough in that White House. Michelle didn't play in that White House because she didn't want her kids to have to go through what they went through. And I remember, he didn't put it in the book. I can't wait to get the book. I'm never going to probably read the book. I'll read some inserts with the book, but that's a book I just want to have on my shelf. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I also like that, when Melania slapped Trump's hand away when he tried to grab it.
Yeah.
He tried to play it off like nothing ever happened. And brother would have been like, I know you didn't just slap my hand. Like, we can both show out in public. Trump tried to act like it didn't happen. He tried to make it all disappear and nothing didn't happen. Y'all didn't see nothing. Keep on moving. You're like a Boston cop. Keep on moving. You didn't see nothing. Keep on moving.
Right. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep pushing. No, serious, man.
That, right there, that kind of sealed the deal that he has no control at all.
He's got no control over. Right.
She's running game, and that's it.
Running game. All right, because I'm telling you, I have never seen the smile that I saw on her face last weekend. She was holding his hand. She was bouncing around like she got dick down. That's what it looked like. She was bouncing around on the way to Marine One like she had gotten dick down. Okay?
Well,
She's like, what? I'm out of this bitch.
But she also knows, when he has given the game up, because there's a point where, kind of his arrogance and his ignorance combined makes him believe that he can make happen what he wants to make happen. And as long as that fantasy is in play, she's frowning, because she knows the reality of it is that's not going to happen. And you're living in a fantasy world. But the second that he confesses to, like, you know what, the gig is over, I'm just going through the motions to get this contribution money. But we're not going to win. It's not going to happen. I'm just basically, just trying to appease my base that gave me money, to give them hope, because we done pushed them down this rabbit hole anyway. That's when she's like, woohoo, the jig is up, baby.
And everybody knows right here on Weezy Philosophy, we can see that Steven is not happy. Steven is not happy that Suge Trump, running the country like Death Row Records, got him and Snoop Pence running the country like that, because we ain't really heard from Snoop Pence. They run the country like Death Row Records, Dr. Dre, which is McConnell, head of the Senate. That's Dr. Dre. All right. Rich Schumer's Eazy-E. All right. Steven's not happy with the $200 million that he's pocketed. All right. And
I am not.
But Rudolph, I want you to know, I don't know if you know this, but Rudolph asked for $20 million a day.
Yeah, that's because he knew. That's because he knew what was coming in. He like, wait a minute.
Right.
Hold on. I looked at the books, and we got over $100 million there, Trumpy do. So since I'm the front man taking all the heat on this charade, you need to bump me up to like 20 mil a day.
And give me my preemptive pardon. All right. And people are talking about the preemptive pardon. They don't realize Nixon got the preemptive pardon. For those who are young or too old, don't know, Nixon used to be president of the United States. While he was president of the United States, he was just as corrupt as Nixon was the first Donald. All right. Nixon was the first Donald. He thought he could do anything he could do anything while he was in office. He thought he was untouchable. All right. But his people turned on him, and they finally had to talk him into resigning. All right. So he stepped down. Gerald Ford was the vice president. Gerald Ford took over the last couple of years as president because Nixon was in his second term. And people don't know this, but Nixon had the real landslide. Remember that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Nixon won.
But that's because Nixon had some ideals. He had some liberal ideals. He wasn't just like he was kind of like a Democrat in a
Republican's body.
So that's why he was able to get some of those Democrats to vote for him, which created the landslide, because they're like, okay, he might be a Republican, but some of the stuff he's saying relates to like some of my issues.
It's just like a white boy that talks like he's one of us, and he raps,
right?
And he does everything. It's like, oh my God, that's Slim Shady. So that's what that's about. But what happened is when Nixon resigned and got into Marine One, Gerald Ford pardoned him, and he got pardoned, and he hadn't committed any crime. So when we hear them talking about the president pardoning people, but they haven't done anything, it's already a precedent set for that. All right. I texted the president. All right. I'm gonna hit him on Twitter.
But the reasoning behind that, is because he felt that there would have been so much of a backlash, and the country would have been split so bad that it would have paralyzed it. So rather than to deal with the fallout of the not pardoning him, putting him through trial and sentencing him, because let's face it, like Nixon didn't play fair, and
no, of course not.
Nixon had a few aces in the hole, and he knew
Nixon knew it, and he's like, gangster.
Do I really want to open up Pandora's box for what is going to be? And don't forget, J. Edgar Hoover was still had his list of evidence on people. So you had that. So it's like, do you really want to open up J. Edgar Hoover's Black Books and have Nixon play his dirty games, for what? Just to show face, that you want to indict a president who did something bad? Like, nah, it's like the lesser of the two evils is the pardon and let all that other stuff just kind of like disappear.
Yes. And I just want to say, listen, we know we don't really do the political thing here, but we talk about anything that rolls up, that then it comes up. And that's why I've been on this Suge Trump deal since 2 weeks prior to the election, because I am fascinated with how people think when they truly believe in someone that they don't know. As we know, 40 years ago today, John Lennon was killed in front of his apartment, shot twice in the back. Can't remember the name of the guy that shot him, but shot twice in his back. John Lennon, one of the original Beatles, I guess the only Beatles, because when I say original, they were just it was just the Beatles, all right? The Beatles just ahead of their time because of Little Richard doing his thing, making the Beatles who they were. James Brown making the Beatles who they were. But the Beatles, all right, they weren't together at the time, but John Lennon, it was so big when John Lennon was shot that Howard Cosell announced it on Monday Night Football, all right? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that the people that were hurt, they were crying as if they knew John Lennon personally. This is what goes on with Suge Trump. People believe that they know him personally. His personality from television, from the time he was selling Domino's New York pizza on TV to when he was firing celebrities and regular folks on his TV show. And they've bought in to the rhetoric, and they bought in to what he says. And so therefore, they're living and dying with him through this occasion. And the money is piling up. I mean, I don't have the type of character integrity, I believe, that would allow me to say things that I don't like or may not mean in order to raise money to pay my bills. It's like taking advantage. It's almost snake oil. And when Stephen is enlightening us on these subjects and when he's telling us about these things, I'm fascinated that the people follow it. I don't know if there's anyone besides Martin Luther King in my lifetime and Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan. I am nowhere near anything that has to do with the Muslim brothers, okay? I'm not selling bean pies. I'm not buying bean pies. I'm not wearing a suit with a bow tie on it. All right. And we make fun of them sometimes, but I can tell you that the message when I listen to Louis Farrakhan talk is so on point, it scares people. Not black folks, but white folks. It scares them because of the intonation in his voice and the way that he says it. All right. It shit is scary. And he's been saying it since the 90s. And I think, Stephen, you mentioned that he's the one that took out Malcolm.
Yeah, that's I mean, it allegedly, but that's
right.
what I think.
Of course it's allegedly. Because anybody who knew about it probably is not around.
Yeah, because the notoriety and power that Malcolm X was getting, with influences outside of the nation. And he was getting white people and Mexican people and Egyptians and Muslims and Christians all to like really come together on a lot of his philosophies. And to have that kind of power is completely and totally dangerous to the nation. And J. Edgar Hoover saw that, as a threat to, their, agencies. And
of course. So, so when we bring these subjects up on Weezy Philosophy and we're talking about it, all right, it's just something that I am fascinated with that is going on. All right, I am fascinated with, because what happens is if you really think about it, if Trump was listening to me, he could be raising that $200 million and sending out his dick pic at the same time as a prize.
I think if he did that,
right?
they would want their money back. They'd be like, you know what, this ain't no Weezy deal. We're
Let me
okay
tell you.
if Weezy doesn't send us some money because we don't get a dick pic. But now that we see the Trump dick pic, we want our money back and we want some extra on top.
That's the way it works sometimes, Stephen. You know, I mean, I sit around sometimes when I'm watching television during the day. This is why I bring that up. I'll see these commercials that come on. You got St. Jude, you got the Shriners. The Shriners is very touching. You've got the Covenant House, you've got the animals, and you've got the kids that are starving in Africa. You've got these PSAs that come on where they're asking people to make donations. Normally it starts off $19, $20 a month, all right, to help. One of them says if we can have 3,000 people donate within the next 30 days, but they play the commercial every day. So I'm like, you know, you've gotten your 3,000 people by now. You're still running it, but it's the same thing. It's the same game, all right?